Hey ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys are doing amazing today in another video, okay? I'm actually thinking about starting something. I'm thinking about starting a new YouTube channel, okay? And it's just going to be mainly focused on money and like freelancers and how freelancers can make more money basically, right? And what they can expect from trying new gigs, you know? There's so many different ways to make money online nowadays, right? And I wanted to discuss, gigs, right? And I wanted to give you kind of like the pros and cons of each gig, right, that you want to try. Because I think a lot of times, people will ask, like you will ask people, right, how can I make more money, right, online? And they will tell you like, oh, you can do this and that, right? But they don't really know what to expect. They don't know what to expect. They don't even know whether it's worth going into, right? And so I wanted to I wanted to make a separate video channel because I've tried so many different things over the years, guys, that I feel like it would be a shame for me not to share it, basically, okay? And the things that I've learned from each gig and each position, so I feel like this can be very beneficial for a lot of people, especially in this economy, right? Especially because I think most of us are looking for more creative and just in general more ways to make that extra income, right? I think we can all use it probably, right? And that's not a bad thing, right? But I think we should just know what to expect when we're getting into something, right? Before getting into it. So that's kind of like what that YouTube channel will be about, So if you think that's a good idea, then let me know in the comment sections, okay? I would love to hear your thoughts on this, okay? I think I will start it, but of course I have to figure out the logistics of how I'm going to like go about it. I think maybe like making videos for that channel like once a week would be a good idea initially, but we'll see. I don't know. Anyway, so this particular video, guys, is not about that, okay? It's actually about, it's, I don't know, how should I label it? Maybe I should name it like the art of not giving a funk, okay? Actually, there's a book that's very similar to this, okay? The art of not giving us, I think it's called that, okay? Or something very similar. Anyways, I've read this book a long time ago, and it was a really good book, okay? It kind of, it kind of emphasizes on the fact that you should not focus so much on the external values, right? But instead choose the lifestyle and the values that you want to focus on, right, within you, and kind of give all of your energy to that instead of to the external factors that you can't even control, such as popularity, for example, right? And so, but this is the thing, right? That's the thing. Like when you eventually do start focusing on the internal factors, right? And not caring so much as to what people think about you, you're naturally going to become very magnetic, okay? So, and by becoming very magnetic, right, you're going to also you're going to attract a lot of people naturally to you, okay? People will want to get to know you. They will be very attracted to you, okay? So you'll become like a I don't know, you can even be alone like this, right? But still people will want to get to know you. You will have a certain energy about you, okay? When the person becomes extremely comfortable with themselves, right? When they learn to kind of build that relationship that's within, right? Then they become extremely magnetic, and so other people will naturally want to get to know you, want to learn more about you, and you will become very popular even without necessarily wanting to, right? Like you won't care about that at all, but you will still become very popular, right? And so there's a huge difference between someone who I would say that the popular kids, right? If you consider the popular kids, here's the thing, right? First of all, a lot of them were narcissistic, right? And the reason being is because they displayed a lot of narcissistic traits, basically, because in order to get to that popularity level, they had to knock a lot of people off, right? Knock a lot of people down, right? And they tend to change their personality and their way of being with each person, right? So they're not, this shows that they're not themselves, right? And that they have to wear a mask with each individual, okay, that they're communicating with, right? And so they can never be themselves, right? And they also, in a way, in more ways than one, they never get this chance of getting to know people on a deeper and more emotional level. Something that will ultimately really, really fulfill them, right? Emotionally, right? And so they never get a chance, right, to do that because they know so many people, right? On the surface, it seems like the popular person, right, is very popular, right, and well known, but in reality, nobody really knows them on a deeper level, right? And so most people know them on the surface, and they know other people on the surface, and that means that they're not getting that emotional satisfaction, that deeper connection, you know, with individuals, right, that we all so crave, you know. And so they're not getting that, right, even though they appear to be popular, right? And so there's also that, right? And so once you kind of learn to fully accept yourself as you are, okay, once you learn how to be really confident and comfortable in your own skin, you're going to attract relationships that are more meaningful, that you're going to attract individuals that you can connect to on a deeper level, okay? And that's very satisfying, right? And so, you know, by establishing your own identity also, right, you will learn to value yourself, okay, and your own energy and your own inner qualities or positive inner qualities that you possess. There's a lot of freedom in not caring what people think about you, okay? As a teenager, I used to think, you know, why? You know, of course, I cared about what I wore, right? How I dressed, right? And so I used to think, like, why do adults sometimes dress so, you know, I don't know, they have mismatching clothes, you know, and they look sloppy sometimes, right? And I kind of judged that, you know, and I just remember thinking, like, why do adults just kind of stop caring and stop taking care of themselves, you know? In some ways, it can be that, right? And that's not necessarily a good thing, right? Because you should always take care of yourself, right? But at the same time, adults also have very little time, right? Some have families, so they have families to take care of. So in essence, they sometimes do forget to take care of themselves, right? And so in turn, they end up looking very sloppy, right? But at the same time, you know, there's freedom also that comes with dressing however you want, right? And not dressing to, you know, please the opposite sex, for example, right? As a lot of women have been conditioned to dress for men, right? And so there's freedom that comes from dressing for you, right? And dressing maybe for your own comfort, right? Maybe you're an athletic person, so you wear something sporty, right? Yeah, something that makes you comfortable, right? And so there's that too, right? So there's freedom in being yourself, right? And that includes your choice of a style, right? Or the clothing that, you know, clothes that you wear, right? You can express yourself as you want, right? And you can be completely yourself, right? And without caring what other people think of you, right? Like, for example, if you were the kind of a person that does care too much, right, what other people think of you, then you would probably wear brand name clothing, right? You would spend a ton of your money that you could be investing or you could be using for something else, right? That's more, I don't know, that's smarter, I would say, right, to use. But you could be using that money for something else, on something else, right? Like starting a business, maybe even, right? Instead of throwing it away on expensive and overpriced designer brands, right? In order to impress other people, right? In order to make them like you, right? Because at the end of the day, right, that's actually what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to alter their perception of you, right? Their external perception of you by wearing brand name clothing, right? So of course there's that, right? At the same time, there are some brand names that are good, right? That are they're truly quality, right? And so they're worth paying for, right? So there's that too, right? So of course it depends on the designer, right? It depends. It all depends, right? But at the same time, like I said, if you are always focused on trying to please people, right, then you're always going to you're going to end up compromising yourself as a result and in the process, okay? One thing that I've seen, for example, you know, I'm not gonna mention the name or who he was to me, right? But I saw this basically. I knew this guy, right, and he had friends, right, and when he was around those friends, they would constantly put him down. They would make jokes that were degrading. They would make jokes that were abusive, you know, and they would just like laugh, right, and they would just they would behave as if it didn't hurt his feelings, right? They would behave as if what they said didn't matter, and they knew he would accept that abuse, so because he put up with it, right? He put up with it because he wanted to be accepted. He wanted to be liked, right? He wanted to be loved. And so not initially, but they knew this, right? And he wasn't strong enough to say, okay, enough is enough. Don't insult me, right? Because if you do, you know, like, I don't appreciate being talked to this way, right? And because if you do continue talking to me this way, I'm just gonna leave, okay? So yeah, you know, and of course, I didn't put up with this kind of behavior, right? And I let them know that it wasn't okay to talk to him this way, right? Or me, for that matter, right? And so they ended up not liking me, right? And I was okay with that, you know? I was okay with that. So you have to learn that when you do have boundaries, okay, and when you sometimes exercise them, you're not going to be liked by a lot of people, because those people are probably not healthy for you anyways, okay? They're probably toxic individuals, okay? So, and by you putting up those boundaries, you're clearly communicating to them that you love yourself, that you accept yourself, and that you're not willing to compromise yourself and your own identity in order to please anyone, right? Because you know that if you don't put up boundaries, they're going to abuse you, right? And it's going to affect you in a bad way, right? And so this is what happens to a lot of people, you know. A lot of people, they end up putting up with abuse, right? Just so they can be liked, just so they can say, oh, I have a good circle of friends, right? Good circle of friends. As if that was true, right? Like, so yeah, there's that, right? And so, yeah, and also there's the lifestyle, right? When you are yourself, right, you can lead a lifestyle that agrees with you, you know, and it's not going to matter too much to you what other people say about your lifestyle. Maybe you're a digital nomad, you know, like I was for a while, right? I basically traveled the world, you know, and I worked online, you know, and I really enjoyed this lifestyle until I didn't, you know. This kind of lifestyle, it has many different benefits, you know, and it's great initially, right? But I think if you, like, for example, if you want to kind of like have a family, right? Although families are doing this lifestyle too, you know. So once again, it depends on an individual, right? I think we are here on this planet to have experiences, you know, and they can be really, really different, right? And not everyone has to agree with them, okay? And that's the part that you need to accept too. a lot of the things that you are going to do, they're not going to be approved by your family, they're not going to be approved by your so-called friends, right? Real friends, I think, will approve your lifestyle. And a lot of the things that you will do, right, that you have to do, they're not going to be okay with other people. Other people might view you as insane. Other people might view you as, irresponsible. Other people might view your way of living as too much, too little, whatever, right? But they're coming from their own fears most of the time. They're coming from their own fears. They're coming from their own. They also have their own perceptions of what their truth is, right? And so, or maybe they're just living from their conditioning, right? Maybe they were told that they were supposed to be a certain way and they bought it, right? And they still haven't gotten out of that mindset, right? So there could be that too, right? And so, so you need to just remember that, yeah, I have like a lot of people that come up to me, like in where I'm living right now, right? There are a lot of digital nomads, right? I meet all kinds of different people all the time, right? And a lot of people have their like mini vans here, right? And like their mobile homes, right? And I meet like all kinds of really cool people here. I was saying that a lot of them, like, they kind of come up to me and we chat, right? And they tell me, like, the first thing that comes out of their mouth sometimes is like, oh, we're traveling the world on this minibus and we're a family of 4 and we just really love this lifestyle, And I'm like, okay, that's really awesome, and so, yeah, I think it's great, because I don't know, maybe they feel I'm not going to be judging them, and they're right, because I feel like it's amazing when people try things out, and when they eventually discover what they like, what they love, even if it's extremely unconventional, I think the Aquarius season, right? I think this time, right, is all about change. It's all about the truth, right? The truth is being revealed to us, right? In more ways than one. Oops, my earring just fell. I'm sorry. Anyway, so the truth, right, is being revealed to us. It's being exposed, and not just from like Hollywood, right? As you guys know, P. Diddy has been arrested, right? But it's being exposed from all different sides, right? And it's being exposed in terms of how people are viewing their lives, how people are seeing things, and how they want the truth. They finally want this truth. They have a thirst for it, right? And it's showing, And so I think more and more people are beginning to live their lives in a very sometimes seemingly unconventional ways, right? And that's okay. I think that's beautiful, because as individuals, as souls, as spirits, right? As unique individuals with our own unique signature, we're not supposed to express ourselves in uniform, right? As in school, right? We're not in one form, okay? We have different forms. Yes, most of our DNA is extremely similar. I think like 99.7, right? Or something like that. But the rest of it is very different, right? And so there's that beautiful difference that we need to express, and it needs to come out. And I think it's beautiful, because that difference is also what's going to open our minds. What this difference in others will also point point back to ourselves, and it's going to allow us, or give us the push to express our own individuality, right? No matter how wacky it is, and yeah. And also, of course, being yourself also is it's going to sometimes be scary, because you're in your truth, right? And sometimes that truth is, once again, it's not going to be liked by a lot of people, right? And it's even going to be offensive to many, and it's going to be scary to speak about even, right? Because you might seem like a crazy person, right? But it doesn't matter, because it is your truth and you should always speak it, okay? Because the truth will set you free, right? And being yourself will ultimately set you free. It will set you free like nothing else, and it's going to be so great for your well-being, okay? It's going to be so great for your well-being, and your life will really improve as a result. You know, your energy is going to increase, okay? And you're going to be like a magnet, like I said, right? Even if you are alone, right? And so you know, the individual who is able to fully embrace themselves as they are, right? The individual that's even brave enough to search for that truth, you know, is going to be very magnetic, okay? It's going to be an individual that's going to be very magnetic, and they're going to be very attractive, and they're going to attract a lot of, you know, I don't know, great experiences into their lives, you know, and they're going to attract a lot of great people into their lives, right? And so yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, okay? And stay tuned for more videos, all right?